And a very good afternoon to you from Melbourne. Well, it's afternoon in Melbourne, but probably still morning in many of the countries that you guys find yourself in. My name's Ben. I'm the Senior Regional Manager with Trinity College. Today, we're running a very special seminar. This seminar is what we're going to call a pre-departure briefing, mainly aimed at those students who have letters of offer, who have already enrolled and who are aiming at joining us here at Trinity College in the coming months. We've got the fast track program, the June fast track program coming up very soon for commencement. Following that, we've got the July programs. That's the July Comprehensive and the Comprehensive Plus programs, and also the August standard programs. These programs are going to commence in the coming months. I can see students still continuing to join us, so we're going to allow a little bit more time for students to continue to join the seminar today. While we're waiting for those students to join us, I'd like to introduce you to a few of the important people at Trinity College and the University of Melbourne. And I'll start with my colleague, Mr. James Curley. James, are you there?
Yes, I am. I hope you can all hear me. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Ben. And I'll be happy to answer any of your questions, either during the presentation today, through the back channel, or at the end when we can have a chance for some question and answers. So welcome, everyone. And I hope it's all very useful for you today.
Excellent. Thank you, James. And for those of you who have joined us, some of you may have in fact had some communication or contact or even met Mr. James. James is the Trinity College regional representative for a number of regions, including the Middle East, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Japan. Where else, James? Have I missed any?
I've just come back from Hong Kong, Macau, and yeah, Japan and Korea, Sri Lanka, Mongolia, but been very busy lately with the golf students, and I see there's some in our list of attendees, so that's great to see you there. And yes, some of you may well have received some offers from me. I've been busily sending them out to the golf students, particularly from Saudi and the UAE. It seems to be their season just at the moment.
Fantastic.
But welcome, everyone.
And I can see some of your students have already joined us here today, James, and that's fantastic. As James mentioned, he will be in the background throughout the presentation that I'll be delivering today. He'll be on the Q&A, having a look at the questions that you're sending through and monitoring those, and joining us for a Q&A, a question and answer session at the end of the presentation. Those Indonesian students joining us today, you may have had some contact with our Indonesian team at some point, and I'd like to introduce to you Emmy, who is the country manager for Indonesia, based in Jakarta. Emmy, thanks for joining us today. How is everything in Jakarta today?
Yeah, thank you, Ben. Thanks for inviting us. It is good weather in Indonesia at the moment, so it's not as cold as Melbourne yet. I believe Melbourne is now entering winter season, right? Yeah, so
yes.
And also, I would like to welcome all the students who are joining us today, and congratulations because you have been accepted to the guaranteed pathway to the University of Melbourne. So you are joining the best pathway foundation program for the University of Melbourne. Congratulations for you. It is not easy, but Trinity will prepare you the best before you are joining the University of Melbourne bachelor degree. Back to you, Ben.
Thank you very much, Emmy, and great to have you from Jakarta. For those of you from East Java, and I'm talking about Surabaya or Malang or some other areas in East Java in Indonesia. Mary, are you there? Can you say a quick hello?
Hi, Ben. Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me clearly?
We can hear you, Mary, and Mary is the regional manager, country officer for Indonesia with the University of Melbourne. How is Surabaya today, Mary?
It's quite hot in Surabaya, actually, but it's nice weather. I think probably very different from what you have in Melbourne right now?
Oh, you can say that, because here in Melbourne today, I think we've got a top temperature of about 13 degrees. Wouldn't you say, James? And James has got his warm pullover on at the moment.
I've got a warm jumper on. I've just come in from outside. It is a little chilly, but it's not raining. A little grey. Football matches going on all over the city, so it's a good day for football. You don't get too hot playing.
Fantastic. Well, Mary, thank you very much for joining us, and you'll be in the background there if any of our Indonesian students have any particular or specific questions relating to entering the University of Melbourne. Mary and Emmy will be with us for today's presentation. Excellent. Well, we've got over 100 students with us at the moment. Very quickly, before I commence my presentation, can I have a show of hands, a thumbs up or a wave, who has already accepted their offer for Trinity College? Who has accepted their offer already? Let's have a look at some of the attendees. Oh, the thumbs up going everywhere there. Wow. Excellent. That's fantastic. We have got record numbers of students applying to Trinity College this year because Melbourne University continues to be Australia's #1 ranked university. It's the university that Australian students dream of attending. And of course, coming through Trinity College gives you a guaranteed pathway into the University of Melbourne. Thank you very much, all those students who have enrolled already and who are now making preparation to come to Australia. Give me a thumbs up or a wave if you're still wondering, do I choose Trinity College or Melbourne University, or do I choose that other university with that shortcut program? Who is still deciding, still not quite sure? Okay, we've got 1 or 2 students there. Yep. Okay, so today we're going to talk about Trinity College, the academic program. We're going to talk a little bit about the bachelor degrees at Melbourne University. We're going to talk about the skills that students who come to Trinity College develop throughout their time in the Foundation Studies program. Those important skills that mean that our students do very well in their bachelor degree. We're going to talk about the subject selection. And finally, we're going to finish off with a practical session talking about the things that you might like to start thinking about to prepare for coming to Melbourne. A little bit about Melbourne, you know, how to get around, the transport, the accommodation, the weather. Okay, so without any further delay, let's start the presentation here if I can find it on my screen. Okay. Just waiting for that to load. I hope everyone can see the the slide that I'm sharing there. Okay, just a quick housekeeping. Please put your questions along the way into the Q&A function. James is there to field your questions, to help you with your questions. If you've got any comments about what I'm talking about, put it into the chat. Okay, I'll be checking the chat along the way, and I've just allowed participants to put in their comments. So if you want to make a comment about anything that I'm showing, the slides that I'm showing, put it into the chat. I'll be monitoring your comments as we go along. Okay, so the picture that you see on your screen at the moment, this is Trinity College. Very beautiful old campus. Looks a little bit like Hogwarts from Harry Potter. It's a beautiful campus that was built back in the 18th century. An excellent campus. Okay, very historic and old. That's the old section of Trinity College. We have built this brand new, okay, modern learning facility on the other side of this campus. It's a 4-story learning center. on the other side, just opposite these historic old buildings that you're seeing there. Now, lots of students often ask, you know, Trinity College, Melbourne University, are they connected? Are they the same? What's the relationship between Melbourne University and Trinity College? Well, this is the University of Melbourne here. Okay, I'll draw a rough line around the outside of the campus. This is Melbourne University. Okay, the downtown area of Melbourne, you can see here with all those tall buildings. Trinity College is located here inside the campus of the University of Melbourne. Okay, that's where the majority of your studies will be taking place. That's where you'll be taking your classes. All right. We're also about to open our second campus down behind the law building here. Okay, that's the Victoria Street building. All of you will be commencing when you arrive at Trinity College for the orientation program. You need to come to the main campus here. Okay, now there's a few things to be mentioned about Trinity College's campus. The first thing is, as you see, it is inside Melbourne University. We are part of Melbourne University. Right from day one, when you do our college program, you're located within the university that you're preparing for. Okay, right there on the campus. The other thing to mention with this is, when you're at Trinity College, you're already inside Melbourne University campus, so you can use the same libraries, you can join the same fitness centre, you can buy your coffee or milk bubble tea from the same cafeterias and shops and cafes, because you're already part of Melbourne University campus. That is a big advantage, because other universities, and I won't mention them by name, but there's many of them, they keep their college students far away and disconnected from the campus. But not at Trinity College. You're going to be part of Melbourne University right from day one. That is a big advantage. Now, for those of you who are still thinking, but why, you know, maybe America, or do I go and study somewhere in Europe or the UK? Why should I come to study in Australia? Well, there's lots of reasons why. Okay, firstly, well, you know, we've got very interesting animals, as you can see here. Australia is a beautiful country, a very diverse landscape and lots of different areas to visit. But Australia is a Western country located within this region here. Okay, now, what can we say about this area of the world? Well, we can mention a lot of the things. Firstly, some of the largest economies, okay, India, China, all right, some of the largest economies in the world, some of the fastest growing economies in the world. And we're thinking about countries like, okay, Vietnam, Cambodia, Indonesia, okay, is tipped to be the world's 4th largest economy in the next 10 years. Okay, Thailand, of course, there. All right. The old economies of Korea, Japan, Hong Kong, Singapore. This area of the world is the area that they're calling or referring to as the Asian century. Okay, this area of the world is going to continue to drive economic growth for the next 60 to 70 years. Okay, now we see what's happening in other parts of the world. I mean, America, some big economic challenges. The USA, every time I turn on my television, I see, you know, news about further gun violence or civil unrest or political unrest. And of course, Donald Trump, okay, still campaigning to be president there. In Europe, we see some very concerning developments coming out of Europe. Okay, we've got a conflict happening there at the moment. We've got the after effects of Brexit still creating a lot of economic challenges. So this area of the world, okay, is an excellent area of the world to base your studies. And Australia is a Western country offering very high quality education, and most of our economic ties are within Asia. So this is an excellent place to start your studies. Australia, a few interesting facts. We are a huge country with a very small population. Okay, so we've got a population of 26 million people. We're a safe and stable country, okay, politically stable, economically strong. So all of these things add up to opportunities for the future. Okay, when you finish your bachelor degree, there is an automatic 2-year work visa. After you finish your master's degree, a 3-year work visa, and lots of opportunities to stay and start your career when you graduate. So this is an excellent opportunity for students. Melbourne is a fantastic city. Just a thumbs up. Who's been to Melbourne before? Okay. Anyone been to Melbourne before? Yes. Oh, lots of thumbs up there. Okay. Excellent. Melbourne is a fantastic city. It's an old English European style city with all of the modern features of a fantastic modern city. So it's an interesting blend of lifestyle. Now, lots of people say, you know, what's the difference between Sydney and Melbourne? Well, of course, Sydney has an interesting opera house and they've got the fancy harbour bridge. Okay, but Sydney is very fast paced, it's very expensive, it's very competitive. Melbourne, on the other hand, we are more interested in lifestyle. Melbourne is famous for its music, arts, culture, sporting events, lifestyle, and of course, our restaurants. Melbourne is an excellent place to go out and eat. So Melbourne has lifestyle. You know who this person on your screen at the moment is, of course, Ed Sheeran. Ed Sheeran actually came to Melbourne last month, and he was staying in the city just behind here in a hotel. He took his guitar and played for free, okay, in the streets of Melbourne. Okay, every week there is music events. There's international music and artists coming. There's K-pop. There's everything. Music, last year we had the Picasso and a couple of the Impressionists, French Impressionists come display their work. We had the Formula One Grand Prix last month. We had the Australian Tennis Open earlier in the year. So Melbourne is the events city. It's a fantastic city for students to come and study in. So it's a city with a real vibe. It's quite exciting. Excellent public transport in Melbourne, and I'll talk to you a little bit more later on about how to use that public transport, but this is what we call a tram. Many of you will travel to and from the campus at Trinity College using our tram network. We also have an extensive train system as well. So Melbourne's public transport system is excellent. You can get everywhere you need to go using this network. Beautiful parks and gardens and public spaces in Melbourne. Excellent places to go and chill out on the weekend or have a picnic or catch up with your friends. So that is a little about Melbourne. Make sure put your questions into the Q&A or comments. I haven't seen any comments into the webinar chat yet. I'd love to hear your thoughts about all this. Let's talk a little bit about Melbourne University. And of course, most of you guys have done your research already. Melbourne University continues to be Australia's #1 ranked university. Currently, we are ranked, actually, Emmy, our current ranking's 33 in the world, isn't it? Correct me on that if you could.
Yes, correct.
Thank you, Emmy. This is last year's presentation. So actually, we're better than 34. We're actually 33 worldwide. Okay, so we continue to be Australia's #1 ranked university. And this is, of course, the reason why you guys have chosen to come and study at Trinity College, because of its ranking. These are the bachelor degrees that you can take at the University of Melbourne. I'm just going to jump out quickly. I think I may have the wrong presentation. Just give me 2 seconds. Okay. Give me 2 seconds here. Yep, I've got the right presentation here. Okay. Let me just restart that. Sorry, guys. Okay, back to where we were. So, the bachelor degrees at Melbourne University. All right, I'm going to talk quickly about these. If you've got any questions about these as we're going along, I've got Melbourne University employees here, Melbourne University country managers and officers. If you've got questions, put them into the chat or into the Q&A. Here are the bachelor degrees that students can study at Melbourne University. Firstly, the Bachelor of Arts. There are 40 major areas of study in the Bachelor of Arts. Now, I haven't listed them all here, but they include things like politics, international relations, creative writing, psychology, okay, criminology, economics can be taken in the Bachelor of Arts, okay, media and communications. Okay, the Bachelor of Arts, there are over 40 major areas of study at the moment. This is the art school at the University of Melbourne. Okay, it's a beautiful campus, excellent chill out spaces and places where you can catch up with your friends before you or after you go to your lectures. Okay, that's one of the lecture theatres that you'll be sitting in if you're planning to do the Bachelor of Arts. We've got a couple of questions here. I'll answer them at the moment. Abdul Aziz asks, does the uni have any plan to get into the top 10 of universities worldwide? Well, Abdul Aziz, for some of our specializations, we are ranked in the top 15 in the world. And things like law at Melbourne University continues to be ranked in the top 10. So we do have quite high rankings for specific areas. I'm going to talk about science in a moment, Dahlia. Let's move on to the Bachelor of Science. There are over 40 major areas of study in the Bachelor of Science. They include things like IT. IT is taken as a specialization in the Bachelor of Science. If you're wanting to study engineering, okay, you'll study the Bachelor of Science in an engineering major before going on to do the Masters of Engineering. Life sciences, everything like pharmacology, biotechnology, biochemistry, okay, immunology, and all of those other areas of life science. So the Bachelor of Science, Dahlia asks, what scores do I need to get into the Bachelor of Science? Okay, from Trinity College, to enter the Bachelor of Science for your top 4 subjects, you'll need an average of 80, okay, to get into the Bachelor of Science. That's a guaranteed entry. Average for the top 4 subjects at Trinity College, and you'll get a guaranteed place into the Bachelor of Science. For those of you aiming for arts, the guaranteed entry score for your top 4 subjects at Trinity College is 80. That will give you a guaranteed placement into the Bachelor of Arts. The Bachelor of Science, again, you will need an average of 80 for your top 4 subjects at Trinity College, guaranteed entry. Okay, so the Bachelor of Science can lead to all types, many different postgraduate majors in engineering, in computing, in software, even into areas of life sciences like the MD, the medical doctor program, or even dentistry. So the Bachelor of Science there. We're currently, or still ranked #1 in Australia for information technology and data science as well, and as well as many other areas of science. The Bachelor of Biomedicine. Is anyone interested in medical science, becoming a doctor or a dentist? Give me a thumbs up if you are. Okay, quite a few of you. So I'll talk a little bit about what that study plan requires. Okay, so the Bachelor of Biomedicine, there are 12 major areas of study, as you see them there. Okay, those of you who are interested in studying medicine, Melbourne University follows a model similar to that of Harvard Medical School or the famous medical schools around the world. Okay, where students do a bachelor degree, Bachelor of Biomedicine for 3 years. Okay, and then you need to apply for graduate medical school into what we call the MD program, the medical doctor program. So it's a 3+4. Okay, the medical doctor program is a 4-year postgraduate qualification. The MD program, the medical doctor program, Melbourne University is ranked amongst the top 20 in the world. It is the #1 medical program in Australia. And the beauty about following this structure, you do all of your preparation work in the Bachelor of Biomedicine, okay? Then in the MD program, for those 4 years, you're studying 50% of the time in the classroom and then 50% of the time in the hospital. And Melbourne University is directly connected to some of the most famous hospitals in Australia and famous hospitals in the world, places like the Royal Melbourne Hospital, the Royal Women's Hospital, and the Royal Children's Hospital, okay, are directly across the street from the campus of Melbourne University. That's the Bachelor of Biomedicine. Those of you who are interested in other areas of medical science, things like pharmacology, okay, neurosciences. Melbourne University has a very famous neuroscience research centre, and immunology and disease. Now, Melbourne University is very famous for immunology because we have a Nobel Prize winner, Professor Peter Doherty, who has a research centre inside Melbourne University campus. He and his team were involved in unlocking the genetic code for COVID-19, okay, back in 2020 when COVID-19 struck us. Okay, so back in January and February 2020, Melbourne University was at the forefront of research for COVID-19. Okay, food science. Vanessa asks about food science. I'll backtrack here. Food science is taken as a specialization in the Bachelor of Science. So you'll do a Bachelor of Science majoring in food science there. Okay, food science at Melbourne University, one of the best places in Australia to study food science. And of course, food security and food safety continues to be one of the most important issues around the world for many countries, particularly in our region. Okay, that's the Bachelor of Biomedicine. The Bachelor of Commerce. Now, the Bachelor of Commerce, you can study 6 major areas of study. Okay, you'll notice that I'm crossing out business because business is no longer a major. Business is a very broad area of study and it's interwoven throughout all of our other majors. Okay, so the Bachelor of Commerce, you can choose from 6 major areas of study. You can do a double major in many of those, okay, including things like accounting, okay, a popular double major, accounting and finance, all right, marketing or management, okay, or economics and finance, a very popular double major. This is where you'll be studying if you're planning on studying commerce at the University of Melbourne, okay, one of the lecture theatres that you'll be sitting in, okay, amazing facilities at the University of Melbourne. Raphael asks a very good question, and that is, how long to do a double major? Okay, Raphael, within the Bachelor of Commerce, if you choose a double major, it's the same amount of time. You can complete that within the 3-year time frame. Okay, it's not a double degree, double degrees are a thing of the past. Okay, they're a very old style of studying. Melbourne University, you can do a double major. Okay, and you can fit that into a 3-year time period. Huang, I'm going to answer your question towards the end, and it's about studying or planning to come and study in Australia and when to travel. Okay, I think I've seen your question and I've seen it on email, so I'll tackle that one at the end. Okay, thank you, Hachi Huang. That's the business school at Melbourne University. Again, an amazing place to study, continues to be Australia's best business school to study at. The Bachelor of Design, there are 11 major areas of study within the Bachelor of Design. This is for students who want to specialize in things like architecture, computing design, okay, construction and property, okay, things like graphic design and digital technology. Civil engineering and mechanical engineering can be taken as a major within the Bachelor of Design. Urban planning and design. Now, for many of the cities that I travel to around Asia, you know, urban planning and architecture and construction, okay, the development happening in many of your cities, all of these areas of study are very relevant for building the Asian cities for the future. So these are excellent majors to study at the University of Melbourne. Is anyone interested in studying some of these areas? Put your, give me a thumbs up if this is what you're aiming for. Excellent. The School of Design at Melbourne University continues to be one of my most favorite areas of the campus. It's a very exciting area of the campus. This is inside the School of Design. It's won awards all around the world for its sustainable design structure, using some of the most advanced sustainable energy saving systems. Lots of use of solar energy, natural light, natural heating within the Melbourne School of Design. This is inside the atrium. Here, you've got some group study areas down below here where you can get together with your colleagues, your fellow students, and study together. All of the balconies have desks, so you can set up and study individually and plug in to study on these balconies, providing an excellent view. But my favorite part of this campus here, you see this structure, it hangs in the middle of the atrium, suspended from the ceiling. Okay, can everyone see that? Well, there's actually 2 classrooms inside here, and they're called the floating classrooms. Okay, so if you've ever wanted to study in a floating classroom, you can at Melbourne University in the Bachelor of Design. It's an amazing campus. You're going to love it. We've got a range of other specialized bachelor degrees, including the Bachelor of Music. Is anyone planning to study music with us today? Give me a thumbs up. Bachelor of Music is for students who want to make a career out of music performance and music composition. It's the #1 music school in Australia, leading to entry into the Conservatorium of Music in Melbourne. The Bachelor of Agriculture, Melbourne University, Bachelor of Agriculture, an amazing bachelor degree, combining food production techniques on a mass scale, combined with business skills, agribusiness. This is the way of the future. As I mentioned before, food security and food sustainability for the future is a big and important topic. And finally, the Bachelor of Oral Health. So these are the bachelor degrees that you guys are going to choose. Okay. Let's talk about the Trinity College Foundation Studies program. Why do we do Trinity College? Okay. Now, for many of you, you may have met students to say, you know, you've met students who've said, you know, oh, it's a waste of time. You know, why bother studying foundation studies? I'm going to choose a low-ranked university that allows me to go directly. That's the better way to do it. You've probably heard people or other students, you may have even thought this yourself. So why do students do Trinity College? Okay, well, it's to equip them with the skills that they need for doing well at university. Skills such as critical thinking skills. Okay, now for many students, your experience at high school, you go to school, okay, you get your pen ready, you sit at your desk, you get your books out, and the teacher comes in and starts writing on the board. What does the student do? Okay, they copy everything the teacher says. You go home and you try and remember it all because there's going to be a big exam. Now, for most students, that's how they learn at high school. Okay, studying at university is not like that. Okay, let me give you an example. Do you ever put your hand up at high school and say, teacher, I have a different opinion about this topic? Would you ever do that? For many of you, probably not, because the teacher is in charge of the class and you must respect them and listen to everything they say and memorize it, because it'll probably be on the final exam. When you get to university, the things that you learn about will never just have one simple right answer. For most things that you'll learn about, they're more complex than that. They'll have several different ways of understanding the topic. There might be 3 or 4 or even 5 different right answers. Or you could be learning about things that don't have any right answers. Okay, those of you interested in biomedicine, think about COVID-19. We still haven't got the definitive answers to that yet. So students need to do more than just copying and memorizing. That's what you did at high school. Students need to develop critical thinking skills, the ability to question, the ability to look for other possibilities and understand there might be other ways of understanding these questions, issues, or topics. That is exactly what we're going to teach you at Trinity College. Okay, how to be more active with your learning and thinking, how to research widely, and how to think like an academic. Okay, Trinity College students graduate with these critical thinking skills. Academic writing skills. We spend a lot of time at Trinity College developing students' academic writing. Okay, how to structure your work, the difference between argumentative writing or comparative writing or explorative analytical writing. Okay, these types of assignments require a different structure and a different approach. Now, if you've never learned academic writing structure before, and most importantly of all, referencing techniques, okay, you'll have a difficult time at university. All right, now for many students who say, oh, foundation studies is a waste of my time, all right, some universities allow those students directly. In the first month, they might get 5 different assignments. They don't really understand how to structure them or develop them. And so those students usually log onto the internet and start cutting and pasting from the internet or copying from a book or using ChatGPT. Those are the students who fail at university. At Trinity College, we spend a lot of time developing students' academic writing skills. How to use your references properly to avoid plagiarism, referencing techniques, the difference between writing styles, argumentative or explorative writing, okay? Academic writing skills. It's the reason why Trinity College students are amongst the highest performing students at Melbourne University, because they develop these skills. Confidence and presentation skills. Now, for many students studying at high school, when the teacher comes into the class, the teacher says, shh, quiet everyone, okay? Listen to the teacher, and you sit there and you take notes. At university, it's much more dynamic. Students have to interact a lot more in class discussion, okay? So students need to be more confident with their expression, okay? Their eye contact, their body language, they need to look confident, okay? Imagine yourself being asked to come down the front of this lecture and give a presentation. How would it make you feel? Well, at Trinity College, we develop students' presentation skills, public speaking skills, how to be confident, okay, how to use your voice, your language, body language, eye contact, all those other parts of communication and English that you may not have developed in high school. Okay, this is why students who do Trinity College Foundation Studies are amongst the highest performing students at the University of Melbourne. Research skills. We spend a lot of time working with students to develop their ability to access and find information in a time-efficient way and how to use that information properly to avoid plagiarism. So these are the skills that students develop at Trinity College. And it's the reason why, as I mentioned before, Trinity College students continue to be the highest performing students at Melbourne University. They often even perform better than the Australian students because we develop their academic skills properly. This is what you're going to learn at Trinity College. So how do we do this? Okay, well, it's in our Foundation Studies program. 5 subjects in total. So 2 compulsory subjects all students will study, and then students choose 3 elective subjects. So let's have a look at the compulsory subjects, the core subjects. All students will study English. Now, our English program, we divide into 3 parts. English literature, okay, this is the part of English where you're going to be reading some short stories, you're going to be studying some poetry, you'll probably even study some Shakespeare. And the reason for this is to develop your ability to interpret language. Okay, now when you get to university, you'll be doing a lot of reading, and it's important that when you read it, you understand exactly what the writer is trying to tell you, what the message is. English literature, okay? English can be very complex, okay? Academic writing can be very difficult to understand sometimes. So it's important that you develop the ability to interpret language and know, aha, I know exactly what the writer is telling me. English for academic purposes. This is the part of English where we develop students' academic writing skills, how to structure your essays or assignments, how to use the right language, okay? If it's argumentative, structure it like this. If it's analytical, like this. And most importantly of all, how not to cut and paste, all right? Referencing skills, super important, how to use information properly. Finally, part of our English program, and you guys should know this by now, drama. All students will do drama. Now, drama is that part of English, okay, where you put your pens and your books aside and you start developing your confidence, your communication skills, your ability to express yourself in front of a group of people. This is a drama class here, guys. Okay, what do you notice? Okay, in the chat, does anyone want to make any comment? What does this look like? A normal class to you? You know, desks and chairs. Okay, Raphael, interactive class. Exactly. That's exactly what they're doing there. You'll also notice there's no desks. There's no chairs or tables. All right. They're not wearing any shoes. All right. This is all about being comfortable with yourself, with your body language, being confident, learning how to interact and express yourself in a range of different ways. Okay, drama, a really important part of English. Okay, because when you get to university, guys, right, you might be in a class and suddenly the lecturer says, okay, over here, Raphael, stand up. What do you think about this? And so students have to be able to interact on an academic level. We're going to teach you how to do that in our drama class. We're not trying to turn you into Brad Pitt or Angelina Jolie, okay? Drama, it can be a little bit scary to start with, but usually by the end of Trinity College, it's most students' favorite class because they learn a lot about themselves. So, English. The second compulsory subject at Trinity College is history of ideas. History of ideas. Now, this is the subject most students ask questions about. And they say, I want to be an engineer. Why do I have to study history? Well, okay, it's not a history lesson. All right. You don't have to memorize kings and queens or Roman emperors or things like that. This subject is more about this. Okay, ideas. It's the subject we teach students how to question, how to look beyond for other possibilities, how to understand that for almost everything you learn at university, it's okay to test it. Is this the only right answer? Are there other ways to understand this problem? Okay, so that student who wants to study engineering, in fact, these skills of critical thinking are essential for engineering, because engineering, after all, is the study or science of problems that don't have solutions yet. Okay, so engineers have to look beyond and challenge and question. Okay, history of ideas, a really important preparation for university, critical thinking skills. Any questions about these two compulsory subjects, guys? Put it into the chat now. No questions? Give me a thumbs up if everyone's okay with that, and I'll move on. Okay, excellent. That seems to have covered that. I've got a few hands up here. Did anyone want to ask a question about the core curriculum at this point? Just put your hand up and I'll get you to talk. No questions? Okay, well, let's move on then, shall we? The elective subjects. So you do those two compulsory subjects and then students choose from these electives. So 3 elective subjects at Trinity College. Okay, those of you who are wanting to study, let's say, for example, biomed. Okay, so for biomedicine, there are 2 compulsory subjects that you must study. Okay, biomed, you must study chemistry and you have to study Math 1. Those of you who are wanting to study commerce, the compulsory subject, okay, does anyone know? Put it into the chat. Compulsory subject for commerce. Excellent. Thank you, Abdul Aziz. Excellent. Everyone's done some good research. Math 1, okay, essential for commerce. And then you can choose any other 2. Okay, psychology if you want, media and communication if you want, but Math 1 for commerce. Okay, for science, okay, science, you need to do Math 1 and then any science subject. So biology, chemistry, or physics. So Math 1 or Math 2. If you're wanting to do IT, Math 2 has coding as part of the curriculum at Trinity College. Okay, so science, Math 1 plus any other science or Math 2. Okay, excellent. Bachelor of Arts. Okay, if you're wanting to study Bachelor of Arts, there's no compulsory subjects. You can choose any 3. All right. However, if you don't have a math background or a chemistry background or physics background, okay, you're not going to be able to take those. All right. So usually art students might choose something like psychology, media communications, environment and development. Okay. So any questions about those? Ahmad is asking for urban planning. What subjects can I take? James or Emmy, for urban planning, is math compulsory?
Not compulsory for the urban planning. However, under the Bachelor of Design, some of the subject leading to major will be asking math subject.
Yep.
So I know the answer is still like a gray area. So the short one is not compulsory, but some of a subject will be asking for math background.
Yeah, thank you very much, Emmy. That's from the University of Melbourne there. Thank you, Emmy. With the Bachelor of Design, okay, some majors require math. For example, if you wanted to do civil engineering as part of the Bachelor of Design. For urban planning, you don't need math, but it can help, okay? It can help. Ahmad, if you're wanting to take urban planning, environment development and design at Trinity College is excellent. You should do it. Math 1 can help, and then you can choose any other subject after that. Okay, I hope that's answered your question there. Abdul Aziz, finance, yes, you must take Math 1. Finance is all about numbers. No one wants a financial advisor who's terrible with numbers. So you Math 1. The other subjects, Abdul Aziz, that I would recommend for finance, you could choose accounting, you could choose economics, okay, but they're not compulsory. May Minami, computer science. Does it require math? Yes. In fact, you should do 2 math for computer science. Okay. Physics, Ahmad, does help for urban planning and architecture and any of those design areas. The questions are coming in. I'll answer a few more. Aurelius, are there any recommendations for what subjects if I want environmental engineering? Okay, environmental engineering, the subjects that will help, of course, mathematics and probably biology. Okay, Aurelia, Charlotte, the elective subjects, do we choose them at the start of the semester? Okay, yes, and I'm going to talk about subject selection in a minute, but you will be selecting your subjects just before you commence. In fact, you will get an email in the week or 2 before you commence that will require you to select your subjects. Okay. Sion Wisely, double hours math is for students who may not have studied extended math before. And when I say extended math, additional math, things like calculus, derivatives, probability, differentiation, particularly. So double hours math means that your math test showed some significant gaps in your math. And in your program, we're going to top you up and fill in those areas and make sure that we get you up to the right level. All right. Thanks for your questions. That's the academic program, 2 compulsory subjects and 3 electives. Okay. You'll do those for the whole program that you're joining at Trinity College. Let's move on. Okay. These are the programs that you guys are joining. All right. Firstly, the August program starts in August, finishes in May 2024. Okay. And you will be commencing in the July program at Melbourne University in your bachelor degree. Same with the July Comprehensive and Comprehensive Plus programs. You'll be starting in July. The structure of your program is a little bit different from the standard program, but you will be finishing in May and you'll be starting in July 2024 as well. Finally, if there are any students aiming for the September fast track, that starts in September, also finishing in May 2024. You'll be joining in July. Okay, so just give me a thumbs up, those joining the June fast track program. Who's coming to the June fast track program, guys? Okay, quite a few of you. That program starts soon. In the next 2 weeks, you'll be starting. All right, starts in June. It's very intensive. There's not many breaks. You'll be finishing in January. You'll be starting at Melbourne University in February 2024. Okay. There's a question here. When will we start in July? Check your letter of offer. Okay, I believe it's around the, James Curley, you might correct me here, but I believe the July comprehensive program starts around the 12th or 17th, I believe. If you've got a letter of offer, it is clearly stated on
It's
there.
the 18th. Yes, you were very close. The 18th.
The 18th.
of July. Yep.
Thank you, James. So there you have it. If you are coming to the July comprehensive program, you'll be coming 18th of July. Okay. All right. So those are the programs. You probably already know these already because you've got your letter of offer. Trinity College is structured like university. So you'll study 5 subjects in total. Okay. For each of those 5 subjects, you'll have a lecture, and the lecture looks like this. Okay, teacher stands in the front here, gives the lecture of the week. Students listen to the lecture. There's a bit of interaction, okay, but they give the lesson for the week. But then for that subject, you'll have a tutorial as well. In your tutorial classes or your laboratory classes for science, maximum number of students is 15 per class. Okay, so it's a series of lectures and tutorials or laboratory work for science. Okay, that's how university runs as well, lectures and tutorials. Tutorials are the classes where you interact with your teacher, you ask questions, you get support with those areas that you might be struggling with. All right. We've got a quick question here from Raphael. Are we allowed to delay our intake? Okay, for example, if we applied for August, but now we want to change for February or January, can we do it? Yes, you can. If you want to defer, you can. Okay. My advice is, unless there's a really strong reason for deferring, try not to do it, because time sitting around doing nothing, just playing TikTok or PlayStation, is not time well used. And in fact, your brain slows down quite quickly. It may be harder for you to get back into active study with a big break, okay? But it is possible to defer your study if you've already got an offer. Raphael, I would encourage you to contact one of us in the admissions team to have a chat about whether that's right for you. Okay, so it's structured like university. The timetable. Now, those of you who have already enrolled and we're coming up to the fast track program soon, and the July program will start soon. Usually around 2 weeks or a week before commencement, you will receive a Trinity College email from academic administration. It's very, very important that you look for that. Do not ignore it, because that email, that initial email, requires you to register, to log on to our online learning platform. We call it TCOL, okay? Trinity College Online Learning Environment. Okay, you log on, you get your password, you'll be able to choose your subjects, and also you'll get the orientation timetable. Don't ignore the emails that come before your commencement. All right. It's important that you choose your subjects when you open that email, because you will get your timetable based on the subjects that you select. Okay, and they will include the subjects that you want to study. Got it? That's going to be just before the commencement. Any questions about the timetable? All right, what I will mention about the timetable is that Trinity College is Monday to Friday. All right, I know many of you in your home countries study on Saturdays. Trinity College, Monday to Friday. It's usually classes, your timetable is going to be scheduled between 8:30 and 5. Now, it doesn't mean that you're studying for the whole time. Your early class might be 8:30, but you might finish by 1 o'clock. Another day, your first class might be at 10 o'clock. and you might finish at 4:30. So it depends. Usually there's around 22 hours per week. For the fast track program, it's a little bit more intensive. And for the comprehensive program, we've got to squeeze in some more hours because we've got to top you up in areas like math and English and science. Okay, so it's Monday to Friday. Angelina, I'll quickly answer your question now. Can I change from August to September? August is a standard program of 10 months. September is a fast track program. We require higher academic grades. If you do want to consider commencing in September, we will need to look at your academic grades again to determine whether your grades are strong enough and whether your English is strong enough. You need an IELTS minimum of 6 for every band for the fast track, and your grades need to be, well, A's, maybe a B, or so you need strong grades. Contact your agent, your representative about that. So accommodation. Give me a thumbs up if you've already chosen your accommodation and already booked your accommodation. Okay, put into the chat some of the places that you're living at. Okay, okay, so we got Yugo, we got Scape, Journal, Uniplace, excellent. Journal, Scape, excellent. So for Yugo apartments, right here. Okay, I'll just put a Y there. That's Yugo. Journal, just behind the law building. Okay, the Melbourne market is here. Okay, that's the market. So Journal is here. I'll put a J actually. Okay, Scape, Franklin is around here. I'll just put an F. Scape Lincoln is just over in this area. Okay, so most of the accommodation is around this area here, and it's a really good area to be, okay, because you're close to the city centre. Okay, and I can walk from Journal to Trinity College on a nice day. I can do that walk in about 12 minutes. But you see, I've got very long legs, and you guys are going to have to stop for a coffee or bubble milk tea along the way. So it's going to take you about 15 minutes. Okay, if you don't want to walk, if it's raining, there's a tram that travels about 4 stops. Okay, and it takes about 5 minutes from here. Okay, the tram goes up to Trinity College, and there's a stop right out the front. Very easy to access. Okay, so that's where you guys are going to be living. If you haven't chosen your accommodation yet, or if you haven't decided, am I coming to Trinity College yet? Am I going to choose Trinity, the #1 in Australia? Well, time is running out, and the good accommodation is filling up very fast. All right, now is the time to start locking in and making a decision so that you get one of the good accommodation, because you want to live close to the campus. Any questions about accommodation, just quickly before I move on? No? Excellent. All right. So, orientation. I'm often asked, is orientation compulsory? Yes, you must be on the campus from the first day. You must come to orientation. It is compulsory. The orientation timetable will be sent to your email. Okay, so it's important that, again, you have to log on, you have to register. Look out for that email from academic administration, and that's where you'll get the orientation timetable. During orientation week, you're going to be having a tour of the campus. You're going to be meeting all the right people. Okay, the student counselors, your support people, your teachers. You're going to meet other students. It's important that you start building your network. Orientation's important. Make the most of it. It's the introduction, and it will set the scene for your studies to come. Okay. So during orientation, we hand out the Microsoft Surface devices. Okay. Everyone will be provided with a brand new Microsoft Surface Go 3 bundle. Okay. You get to keep this. You will be using it a lot throughout your studies. And at the end of Trinity College, you get to take it with you. It's yours. Okay. We will give those out during the orientation program. All right. So that is a small bonus for you, but it is a tool that you will use a lot in your foundation program. Okay, I'm going to run through very quickly a bunch of slides, things that you might like to consider. All right, I'm often asked by students, you know, what can I prepare? How do I prepare for coming to Melbourne? All right, well, here are a bunch of slides to help you prepare. Things to consider now before arriving in Melbourne, and things that will help you settle into your studies in Melbourne. Okay, how to be prepared? Well, firstly, learn how to use one of these. Okay, for those of you who have never seen one before, this is a washing machine. All right, for those of you, well, give me a thumbs up if you've never used a washing machine before. Okay, some of you may have had a maid, all right, who you know, takes your clothes and they come back nicely cleaned and folded and ironed. All right, here's my first tip. Between now and when you commence at Trinity College, follow your maid into the laundry and learn how to use one. It's really, really important. Okay, you have to do your own washing. Okay, most of you, well, all of you, won't be able to bring your maid with you. Learn how to use a washing machine. Okay, now for many of you, who cleans your room at home? Put it into the chat. Who cleans your room? Okay, Raphael, well done. Okay. Aurelia says here and there. I like your style. Okay. So if your room looked like this, okay, you probably wouldn't want to come home from a hard day of study at university and start your assignment. All right. Keep a healthy study area, keep it clean. Okay. And that way you will feel more comfortable. All right. It's up to you guys to manage your own spaces. This is all about being responsible. Learn how to cook. All right. Put your hand up if you know how to cook. The countries that you're from have got excellent food. All right. From all of these countries that I'm seeing here, learn some of your dishes. Bring them. The other people living with you in the student hostels will love to learn some of your dishes. Learn how to cook. Bring those skills and share them. All right. You have to do your own cooking. You cannot live off instant noodles for a year. Okay. Learn how to cook. Keep healthy schedules. What does this mean? Well, it means getting good sleep. All right. Not staying up playing on Instagram or TikTok until 2 o'clock in the morning. All right. Get a healthy rest so that when you're at university and it's a long day and a long, boring lecture, that you can stay in tune. It's very healthy. Okay. Keep healthy schedules. Now in Melbourne, there are 4 seasons at the moment, and James mentioned before, I'm looking outside at the moment. It's very grey. It looks exactly like this picture on the screen. Today, it reached a temperature of about 13 degrees. Okay. So you need to wear the right clothing. You take a look at this lady here. Okay. She's got a big, long jacket. It's waterproof. She's wearing long pants. All right. You can't see her shoes, but they will be boots of some type. All right. She's even wearing some gloves. And of course, she's got her trusty umbrella. All right, this is typical of people in Melbourne during winter. They dress in layers. If you don't have a winter wardrobe, wherever you might be, Jakarta or Vietnam or Bangkok or Singapore or Malaysia or elsewhere, even in Dubai, go to the shopping centres there, okay? Deck yourself out with a winter wardrobe. You will need it. Abdul Aziz asks, is August cold? You betcha, okay? Abdul Aziz, August is actually the coldest month because it's a little bit windy, it's rainy, and you get these cold days, all right? So June, you get some nice blue sky days, but it's chilly. July, the rain starts to come. August, all right, is probably the coldest month. All right, so you'll need a winter wardrobe. Things start coming good, okay, around September. We start getting these nice clear blue sky days. All right, it can be a little bit windy. The mornings can be cold. The evenings can be cold. And you might get a cold snap, but then you get these fantastic sunny days. So spring's a really nice season in Melbourne. It's exciting. Things start waking up. Then there's summer. Okay, summer. In contrast to winter, summer, the average temperature is usually in Melbourne between 26 and 30 degrees. That's the average. Okay, but in Melbourne, sometimes in January and February, we get these high heat days, and it can reach, up to, or above 40 degrees. Sometimes it can get to 42. All right. It can get really hot. Melbourne people love to hit the beach. This one's down at Brighton Beach here. There's lots of places, but you need to look after yourself in summer. It can get really hot. This one, autumn. Autumn is a beautiful time of year in Melbourne. These nice blue, crisp, clear days, temperatures around 16 to 18 degrees. It's lovely. And the colors start changing. All right. Students love it because they get to take really great photography. So those are the seasons. That's what you're in for. 4 seasons. Now in Melbourne, it's often said that we can get these all in one day, and it's true. The temperature changes a lot. Always be prepared in Melbourne. How will I get around? Well, I told you about the trams before. Okay, most of you will use the trams to get in and out of Trinity College or in and out of the city. In the city centre, they're free. Okay, you can travel around the city centre for free. There's also a train network. If you live a little bit further out, you can use the trains or the buses. Now, to travel on any of these, you will need a MyKey card. All right, this is one of the first things that you'll buy when you get to Melbourne, a MyKey card. All right, it will cost you $5, and then you can load money onto it. My recommendation would be to go for the 1-month pass, all right, which is, I'm not quite sure what the cost of it is these days, but for 1 month, you can have unlimited travel, okay, and I think it's around $100, and you can use unlimited transport. There are some student discounts as well. So that's the public transport system. Make sure that you are paid up. Make sure you touch your card on. Many of you have been to cities where they use these type of cards to access the public transport. Students sometimes ask, personal safety, is Melbourne a safe city to live? The answer to that is Melbourne is a safe city, as long as you use common sense, all right? Melbourne is as safe as any other city in our region. Now, of course, if I traveled to Jakarta or Ho Chi Minh City or Bangkok or even Dubai, right, there's probably areas of the city that you would say, Ben, better not to go to that area of the city alone after dark, okay? And it's the same in Melbourne. There are areas of Melbourne, if you have no business going there, if you don't have a purpose, it's better not to go to some areas alone after dark. but they're usually areas that you would have nothing to do with anyway. The area around Melbourne University, the areas that your hostels are going to be in, perfectly safe. But of course, using common sense. What does that mean? Well, it means not going out to areas of the city alone at 11 o'clock at night. If you're going to the movies at night, go with a group, okay? If you're unsure about the area that you're going to, okay, take a friend with you, okay? Common sense. All right, Melbourne is generally a safe city to live, and the area around Trinity College are perfectly safe. Raphael asks, what are the most dangerous areas of Melbourne? Look, they're areas, Raphael, that aren't necessarily dangerous, but sometimes, you know, you might stand out more, and the areas far, far from the city centre. You probably don't need to worry about that. So that brings me to the end of my formal presentation. So now is the time, and I'll invite James and maybe Emmy and Mary back on as well. If you've got any questions that you'd like to ask, okay, raise your hand and I'll unmute you and you can ask your questions. Raphael, would you like to ask a question? No? Okay. Raise your hand if you would like to ask a question. Anyone? James, you've been looking at the Q&A there.
Yes, we had
questions?
almost 100 came through. So we've done, Mary jumped on there. I could see her typing away furiously, but we've done about 90 something questions. So we might have covered a bit of ground. There was a lot of inquiries about first day activities, orientation, when do we start, when do we get our timetables, etc. Some of you will have seen the answers that I typed. You will receive, first of all, you'll be contacted, as Ben said in the presentation, you'll be contacted by the academic administration team before the course starts. You'll be given access to our online platform. You'll complete subject selection, etc. at that point. Now, once all of the students in your group, whether it's June Fast Track or July Comprehensive or August Standard, have submitted and recorded their elective choices, then all the timetables are made in the timetable department for each individual student. So it does take a few days and you won't receive them until once you've started the actual course. But that's what they avoid all the clashes with classroom timetabling and also teacher timetabling. So everyone does that before the start, usually within about 10 days, 2 weeks before the course starts. And then the timetable department gets busy at drafting out all of the many different permutations and calculations to give everyone an individual timetable. Because remember, not everyone is taking the same 3 electives. So we have to factor that in when we set it all out. But you will be contacted. A lot of the information, a lot of the questions that were asked were things to do with detail that will be provided to you during those first few days of orientation. So that's why, as Ben said, it's very, very important to be there. Otherwise, you miss that information. You'll be groping around in the dark after that if you miss out on it. So it's not an optional add-on. It's actually the first day of your course. You must be there for that.
And we don't want any groping around in the dark there. So there is a question here. Is it possible to travel to school by car? And is there car parking areas? My advice to that is, yeah, you can travel anywhere by car, and you know, you can travel to Trinity College by car. However, the parking is extremely expensive. You'll be paying at least $25 a day around the campus. Don't do it. Okay, it's too expensive. You're better off taking the public transport. It's far easier. You avoid the traffic and the stress, and it's safer.
It's very well serviced by public transport, and it's just unnecessary. And a lot of you will be living in accommodation that's very close to the campus. I know Ben went through some of the locations earlier in the presentation, but a lot of our students will simply walk to the campus each day. They might take a short tram or bus ride, or else they might even cycle up to the campus. So unless you're living much further out, driving wouldn't even enter your head as far as an option for coming in. It wouldn't be convenient for you at all.
I've got a question here, and I'm going to unmute you, Panapat. Panapat, are you there? Would you like to ask a question?
Hello. Hello. Can you
Hello.
hear me?
Go for
Yes,
it.
we can.
My question was among the science elective, like physics, chemistry, and biology, that we need some sort of prerequisite to study those or choose those as elective.
Depending on what you've studied before, Panapat, if we're concerned about the level of chemistry or physics, for example, there is a test that we sometimes ask students to do in their home country. And I'm assuming that you're in Thailand at the moment. Is that correct, Panapat?
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
Well, I did study AS level physics and chemistry before, so
Yeah.
I think
So
that counts as.
Yeah, in that case, if you studied AS level physics or chemistry, we're probably not going to ask you to do a test. We're going to say, yep, that's enough to come in and study those subjects at Trinity College.
I see. Okay, thank you.
Okay, Panapat, have you got an offer for an upcoming program, or you're still thinking?
Oh, I got a conditional offer for a Bachelor of Design.
Okay.
And yeah, it's contingent on 6 months of Trinity College.
Okay, Panapat, I'll be back in Bangkok in July if you wanted to.
I'm starting the June fast track, so I'll be going in a few days.
You'll be here very soon.
Yeah, I'll be going to Melbourne
Okay.
very soon. Yeah.
Very good. Well, thank you, Panapat, and look forward to catching up with you. Any other questions? Who have we got? Hang on, we've got May Minami. Would you like to turn your microphone on and ask your question?
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
Well, I can hear you.
Yes.
Great. My question was, for the top 4 subjects that is used to calculate your average to get in to Melbourne Uni, does it have to include both English and history of ideas, or is it just your top 4 out of the 5 you take?
What do you want to study?
I was considering doing psychology, media, and environment.
Excellent. So
and design.
Bachelor of Arts. James Curley, Bachelor of Arts, do we have to incorporate in the top 4 history of ideas in English?
No, it doesn't have to be in the top 4, but there are for arts, you've got to have a minimum score for English and history of ideas, but it does not have to be in the top 4. I believe, and maybe Emmy or Mary could correct me on this, but I believe the only degree that specifies a subject that has to be included in the top 4 is commerce, when you must include Maths 1 in the top 4. So even if it's your 5th subject, if it's your weaker subject, you must put that in, and that will be counted as one of your top 4 subjects, even if it's not your top 4 subject. But I don't think the other degrees do that. I see Mary's just come on. Maybe she can correct me if I've got that wrong.
Yeah, so all the prerequisite subject must be included in the best for the calculation. Yeah.
So chemistry for biomedicine must be in.
For biomedicine, yes.
Chemistry is a prereq, but does it have to be in the? Oh, goodness! I stand corrected. Thank you for making sure that important information got out there.
Yes, we have the updated information in the website, I believe, and I think all of you will be guided by Trinity staff by the time you're already starting your study to choose the correct subject and how to calculate it for entry to the University of Melbourne. Right?
Okay. Thank you, Mary. There's a question on, actually, let's finish with May. May, where are you studying at the moment?
Right now I'm in Japan. I'm just waiting to get to Melbourne in July.
Well, we're looking forward to having you here.
Right,
thank you. There's a question on the Q&A here, which I will and it says, it's from Anonymous. If I haven't done additional math in IGCSE, can I still go to the standard program? The answer to that is quite clear. No. Okay, because if you've not done additional math, it means that you've missed out. We know that you've not studied calculus before. We know that you haven't done derivatives and a number of other areas like probability and differentiation. Okay, calculus being the big one there. And without those, you know, they're very important parts of math that you need to go into the biomedicine program. So the program for you, Anonymous, is the July program, because that's where we're going to top you up in those areas that you've never done before. All right. So the answer is no, you have to fill those gaps. Okay, very important. We've been talking for about an hour and a half now. We'll take a couple more questions and then I think we might wrap up for the afternoon. Anyone else like to be brave and put their hand up and join us for a question? Now's your opportunity. No one else? I think we must have covered everything there, James. Excellent. Now,
I'm mute. I think it's been very comprehensive, yes.
Okay. So what to do from here? Firstly, keep an eye out, keep looking out for those emails, the correspondence from Trinity College, because they're going to give you the next steps of how to register, how to log on, how to choose your subjects. Okay, really important that you look out for those. Secondly, if you do have any other questions about changing intakes or deferring or changing to a fast track program, your first person to talk to is your agent, your representative in your home country. Okay, they're the ones who are going to assist you with any of that administrative change. Okay, so with that, I'd like to take opportunity to thank our special guests from the University of Melbourne. That's Mary and Emmy. Thank you for joining us, guys. Many of you, if you're in these countries, might have met these guys before. I'd like to thank Mr. James Curley from Trinity College.
Always a pleasure.
James gets love hearts there. My gosh, James. And
I think they're for Mary and Emmy. I don't think they're for us, Ben.
Right. And finally, from myself, thank you very much, students, for joining us. It's fantastic to see so many bright students who are taking the correct steps, the right way of preparing for entering their university studies, and that is through Trinity College. Indeed. Trinity College students, as I mentioned previously, amongst the highest performing students at Melbourne University. You guys are in for an excellent program, an excellent time on the campus. We look forward to welcoming you then. In the meantime, stay safe, take care, and bye for now.
Thanks for coming along.